welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Okwe, and today we'll be recapping and reviewing some of the latest episodes of certain reality shows, which include the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the Real Housewives of Potomac, and Married to Medicine. So if that sounds like your vibe, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications so you get notified every single time I post a new video. And with that being said, let's get into this review. So we're going to start off with Real Housewives of Potomac. I feel like I have a lot of notes with Real Housewives of Potomac, so I'm hoping that we can just get through this very quickly because it seems like that is the one that has the most notes on my end. The episode starts off with Giselle and what's her name? Angel, still going back at it, who is supposed to lead this trip moving forward from now. Giselle wants them to do something different the next day, and Angel is trying to tell them, like, no, I have this planned. I have this fly fishing activity planned for you guys tomorrow, and we're going to have dinner or have lunch after, and then you guys are going to head to the airport. And then Giselle is like, nope, I want us to go to our new accommodation now, which is in the Four Seasons, and then have, I think, breakfast or brunch and then head to the airport. So they are both going back at it. Eventually, the ladies decide, let's just go first to Four Seasons, let's settle in, and then we'll pick this conversation up from there. So they all decide to do that. In Giselle's confessional, she says something like, oh, it's her job and her duty to always make sure that these ladies are happy. And I'm like, maybe this is the latest type of Giselle, because I remember seasons back where, because you were in the out with certain ladies, e.g. Monique, Candace, Wendy, you always treated them poorly compared to the people that you liked at the time. So I find it very interesting now that it's very convenient for her to say, oh, I'm always going to make sure that all the ladies are good, all the ladies are this and that. When beginning of this season self with Stacy, you were treating her differently from the way you were treating the other ladies. So I'm just like, I find that very hypocritical of her, because she has never been that kind of person to just, keep the beefs aside, don't make things petty and just treat everybody equally. Giselle has never been that. She has always treated certain people differently. And yeah, she's not the one that should be saying this right now. They end up going to the Four Seasons, and the ladies like their new accommodation now and all that. So they're settling in. I think Giselle asks Angel if Angel will be staying over. So Angel is like, yes, her and the ladies that were in her house, Kierna and Tia, would have to go and get their things to stay overnight, which would be an hour to go, and then come back again, which is an hour to come back and stay with the ladies. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense, because it seemed like when they got to the Four Seasons, it was already late at night, and going back and forth from her house to the Four Seasons is like a 2 hours drive type of thing. And then even after they come back, she was even now suggesting that they go mechanical bull riding later on in the night. And I was like, is it maybe there are more hours in the day than I realize for these ladies? Because how are you guys going to do this with very limited time tonight? All these plans. But Angel decides that she and the other ladies will come back, and they would all go out together or have girls' nights, whatever it is. After hearing that the ride to go back and forth would be like 2 hours plus, the rest of the ladies except for Jazzy and Ashley are like, oh no, by that time, I would want to stay in, I would want to like rest and everything. So not all of them are on board with it, but Jazzy and Ashley, I think at the end of the day, end up still going mechanical bull riding, and the ladies end up, meeting up again the next day in Giselle's room. While they meet up at Giselle's room, we find out that apparently Angel, Tia, and Kiana ended up not coming back. Giselle ended up texting them later at night, hey, you guys, I heard that you guys never checked into your room, so what's going on? And I think Angel responded, we decided that we'll just stay back and all this type of things. I mean, I understand that, it didn't make sense to be coming back, after that long journey to go back to your house and everything and start packing and all. But I just feel like, again, Angel, this is what the ladies are talking about. You don't communicate. Why was it Giselle that had to reach out to you to check on if you were coming back when you already knew you were not coming back, and you could have just let it be known that, hey guys, sorry to cancel on our plans, but I wouldn't be coming back. You were even the one that suggested the mechanical bull riding thing. So I just feel like I love you, Angel, but I just need you to communicate better. Please communicate better because you're not making it easy for people like me that actually like you to defend you. You're really giving Giselle a lot of ammunition now. And of course, they're talking about that, like how, why would Angel not come back when she already said she was going to come back? You see, this is what we're talking about. She doesn't communicate, this, da, da, da. And I'm just like, Angel, you're really not making this easy for yourself. Ladies at the hotel soon head out to go to the fly fishing location. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Angel, Kiana, and Tia are also heading there from Angel's house. So they're going to end up meeting at that fly fishing location. And we also get to see, like, at the fly fishing location, we see, a chef cooking up some ribs, really nice soul food and everything. Everything is looking nice. They're setting up for the ladies and all that. I think at the point where the ladies left the hotel, it was like 5 hours to their flight. And I was like, oh, that's a very tight time schedule to like be doing all these things. By 5 hours, I feel like you should be preparing to go to the airport. You shouldn't be preparing to go to an activity before you go to the airport. And mind you, I think the location from the Airbnb to the fly fishing area was like an hour 46, almost 2 hours at that point before they even started going. So if it's gonna take you like 2 hours to get to the fly fishing place, when you get there will be like 3 hours left for you guys to, eat, fly fish, whatever. Let's even say okay, that takes like 1.5 hours. So you're telling me you're just gonna give yourselves 1.5 hours to go to the airport and then be ready for your flight. I don't know. The time thing was just not making sense to me. The math was just not mathing because if they did that fly fishing thing, they would have definitely missed their flight, in my opinion. But you're gonna see how things. If you already watched the episode, you already know how things played out. But at that point, when we're seeing the timers and seeing how many hours were left till their flight, I was literally having anxiety. I can't even lie. And I was like, "Ooh, Angel, I don't think this was probably the best thing to do on the day when these ladies were leaving." But something I was thinking about was also, what if the Airbnb that they were initially in was closer to the fly fishing location? Because you know that they ended up moving to the Four Seasons. Like, what if that Airbnb was actually closer to the destination? But at the same time, I don't know if that even could fly because Angel's house is still seems like it was still farther because those ladies also had a distance for them to get to the location. So I really don't know. I really don't know. Like everything about that whole thing was just weird. But yeah, the ladies head out to meet with the other ladies for fly fishing. We also see, like I said, that the ladies have about 5 hours to go for their flight from the time that they are heading out to fly fish, and we find out that the fly fishing location is like an hour 46 minutes away from the hotel that they are staying. When they realized that this distance was like pretty far to the location, they're like, oh, you know what, let's grab a some drinks, along the way, snacks or whatever to keep us, entertained while we're heading to our destination. So in my opinion, in my head, I was like, damn, like you guys already have like a very tight schedule type of thing. Why are you even stopping to like have snacks? Like you could just hold it in and just get to your destination. But at the same time, I don't think they even knew that the distance was going to be that long, and they probably maybe didn't eat enough or anything. So I guess, yeah, maybe they wanted to get some snacks along the way. I can't fault them for that. So I think in one car we have Monique, Giselle, Ashley, and then in the other car we have Wendy, Stacy, and Jassy. So in the car with Wendy, Stacy, and Jassy, Stacy lets Jassy know that she didn't like that Jassy was exchanging phone numbers with Cherise at the family fun day event that Giselle hosted, especially since Cherise was one of the people that was spreading lies about her being promiscuous, in the streets and everything. Jassy questions Stacy's loyalty and questions if she would have actually showed up to her wedding if Wendy and Ashley didn't also decide to come. Basically, she feels like the only reason that Stacy came was because the other ladies were coming. I really believe this because I think they showed us some throwbacks of when the ladies were asking Stacy if she was coming. And this was way before Wendy and Ashley said they were coming, and she was like, she said she was coming, but like the way she responded was kind of giving like maybe, maybe not. Like she wasn't really fully confident with her response. And then we see another throwback of when she finds out that Ashley is going, and she's like, oh, okay, like you can see that she's taken aback by that information. And in the car when Jassy was talking about this, Stacy says she didn't know that Ashley was coming, which is a lie, because we saw in the clip from before, Ashley actually calling her during her cannabis line photo shoot to let her know that she was coming. So you did know that Ashley was coming. And this is what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong, Stacey is a nice lady and everything, and I actually think that she's a nice addition to this show. But the way that people are choosing to have selective amnesia with this lady's lying abilities, like Stacey is a liar. Stacey is a liar, and I don't understand how people are just excusing that behavior. She is a liar. She lies about the most stupid things. And that makes me feel like there is more to her that we haven't seen yet. Like she's definitely hiding something, because how do you just lie on impulse? Why do you just lie on stupid things? Even if Ashley told you about it, okay, and even if you didn't want to go to the wedding, okay, and like, I don't know why she chooses to lie about these kind of silly things. And then the lies don't end up making sense. And that's exactly what the ladies are talking about. So again, this was just typical Stacy lying again, and the conversation becomes heated. I think Wendy even starts chiming in, like, Stacy, don't lie right now, because I know that you're lying, blah blah blah. Just own it and all that. Stop lying. It becomes very heated, Cha. Another thing was, she said that the date for Jassie's wedding was coinciding with her cannabis line launch. And again, that is indirectly you saying now that you actually didn't plan to go because your thing coincided with that, your launch. But a few minutes ago, you just said that you were going to go. And throwback, a few episodes before, when the ladies asked you if you were going, you said you were going to go. Way throwback to last season when they were having the reunion. What's her name, Jassy, told you the date of her wedding, and you seemed like you were interested in going, and obviously that date was told way before you planned this photo shoot. So I don't know, Stacy, like, I don't know where to keep Stacey right now. I like her as a person, but I don't like the way she lies. It doesn't make sense. Like, she's always caught up in lies, and I hate how her fan base is just excusing this behavior every time. I think she needs to be held accountable, and I don't blame Wendy or Jazzy about even having this conversation with her, because yeah, it's just very annoying. Wendy calls out Stacey for lying, like I said, and I agree. Like, Stacey lies, and she needs to be held accountable. And I don't think that Wendy was wrong for even calling her out. I can't even lie, like, I was on Wendy's side. Stacey accuses Jazzy of recording phone calls. I guess they had a phone call in the past where, they were talking about, her dynamic with the ladies. And Stacey says that she heard something like, oh, you are being recorded. Like, that just made her like shocked. And, I guess Jazzy tried to play it like, oh, wow, like, what was that? Like, she was confused. Um, I just feel like that's phony, even because, okay, that happened. And rather than you to just say, oh, I didn't want to come to your wedding because this happened, you didn't say that. Now, because you're cornered to the wall, you're back to the wall, you're going to, that's your go to. Like, oh, this is why. Why wasn't that the reason since when they've been pushing you or like asking you if you were going to go? You should have just been honest from the beginning. If this is how you felt about her, eventually you should have just made that be known when they were grilling you about whether you're going to go for her wedding or not. I would rather she had said that than now, because now it feels like you're covering your ass, and I feel like it's funny behavior. That's just me. In Angel's car, the ladies are lost and having GPS issues, which is causing them further delay. It seems like she wasn't taking them to her usual fly fishing spot and picked a different one that she wasn't familiar with to accommodate the amount of ladies that she was bringing. Understandably so, but then again, Angel, you need to communicate. The moment that you realize that you were lost, and you were there was more and more and more delay, I feel like she should have picked up her phone and called those ladies. I think she did try to at some point, but maybe connection issues. But I don't know, like, I just feel like the universe, since they've come to this Colorado, has not been in favor with Angel. Like, there's just always been something with this lady, and I'm just very tired. Like, I'm tired of defending this, because And why do you even pick a fly fishing location that you are not even familiar with? Why not take them to the one that you were familiar with? Again, that was not good on her part. Granted, she said that the reason why she did that was because of the size of the ladies coming. I just feel like other things could have been done. You could have picked a location that was closer to the ladies, closer to the Airbnb. Maybe it was closer to the Airbnb, and maybe because they changed to the Four Seasons, that's why it was not close. But that excuse can be given for them. You that your house has been the same location, you obviously knew that this location was farther from you. Why didn't you pick a fly fishing location closer to you? And if there was no fly fishing locations closer to you, why did they have to do fly fishing? You guys could have done a different activity that was way closer to you, way more convenient, especially since you knew that the ladies were leaving that day in the afternoon. Like, I was just, I don't know, my heart was literally in my chest or in my mouth for Angel throughout this episode because I'm just like, she's doing everything wrong. They end up getting stuck in one ditch or one death road like this, and it's just very scary. I'm just like, where is Angel taking these ladies for real? The other ladies are still on their way, thinking they're all going to meet at the same time or around the same time, and meanwhile, these ones are stuck in nowhere land. It's just a mess, just a mess. And I think at that point, when we found out that there was more delay with Angel's, posse, it was around like 2 hours to their flight. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And you guys are at that point, me, I even knew that this was not going to happen. Like, this fly fishing thing was not going to happen because 2 hours is cutting it. In fact, that has cut it extra close. That is, you're missing your flight. And I really want to know if the ladies did miss their flight at the end of the day and if they were reimbursed, or maybe production paid for the flight. I don't know, but just a mess. Just a mess. On the other hand, in Giselle's case, Ashley brings up a theory that Wendy has been, telling her about regarding this whole Chris and Stacy situation. And it's funny because it's exactly the same theory I said in my past two videos about, how all the ladies are clamoring on Stacy being the rats that told Chris about the conversation that Monique had with the ladies about him. But my guess is that it's actually Angel that took the information to Bobby, and because Bobby was like a mentee for Chris during the beginning of his career, he may have mentioned it to Chris, like bro code, like, hey bro, like, I don't know if you know this, just letting you know that your ex-wife is talking about you. Like, I can see that happening, and especially because of the way they've emphasized that Bobby and Chris have some sort of close relationship. That is not far fetched. So I'm curious to know how, if this is brought up in the reunion, and curious to also know what Angel has to say in response to that. But that has always been my theory about this whole Chris and Monique situation. I definitely feel like it's Angel. I think also, yes, with the other ladies, not only was Angel even getting delayed, the other ladies that were actually on the road, have been going, thinking that the hours and the minutes are going to reduce. The hours and the minutes kept increasing, and they're like, we've been on this road for a long time, and yet it seems like our destination is farther. They are the ones that now decide to call Angel. They stop at a gas station to regroup, and they call Angel, and I'm just like, why again is it them that are calling Angel? Why? Angel should have been the one to call them the moment she realized there was a delay. Or maybe she was just frazzled. Maybe she didn't know how to handle the stress. I don't know. But then maybe you shouldn't plan a trip right now if you're not the type of person that knows how to handle stress that way, because it just was not a good look. I like Angel, but it definitely was not a good look. I'm just gonna keep it real. It wasn't a good look. So Angel, Ashley calls Angel, and they also find out that they've been lost for hours. The ladies are furious. They're looking at the time. They're like, this cannot work. And I can't lie, I agree with them. So they end up saying, this is where the trip ends for us. We are heading to the airport right now because our flight is completely delayed now, and we don't even know if we're going to miss the flight at this point. But this is where the trip ends for us. Goodbye and everything. And as harsh as it may have sounded and all that, I definitely am on their side. I'm on their side. Angel, this trip ended terribly bad. Like, we thought that the whole Airbnb situation was bad. This one was pretty bad. Like, no communication, no clear, this thing of what was going to happen, no clear itinerary. it was just a mess. It was just a mess. Communication was definitely a big part of it, and my girl just didn't. She just didn't communicate well. Anyways, after Angel gets off the call with the ladies, she calls her staff at the actual location and lets them know that they aren't coming anymore. I felt so bad for the staff. I feel like the staff were really the victim in all this because that setup that they were doing for the ladies was beautiful. The food looked amazing. I just hope that all that food didn't go to waste. I really feel like the caterers and the event planner were really the victims in all this because it seemed like they had been setting up for hours and just for all that to not even come to fruition, like all their efforts to just be in vain. It was actually a bit sad, very sad to me. Something else I do remember that was said by Angel when she was heading to the location was that, oh, somebody gave her the location. I don't know what she meant by, or who she meant by somebody. Is it Bobby? Is it the person that owns the fly fishing location? Was it production? So, in my opinion, I'm like, could it be production that she was referring to that gave her the location? Did production actually like intentionally set Angel up? Because I don't know, everything about this episode just felt very weird. But then again, if Angel is the one that picked the location for the fly fishing, why wouldn't she have the location already? Why would she wait for somebody else to ping her the location? If you were the one that set up the event, you should have this information. But then could it be that production was actually the one that picked the fly fishing location and now Angel is the one taking the brunt of it? It really feels like if that is the case, if that's what we hear in the reunion, I really feel like production set Angel up. They set her up and they're the real perpetrators in all this because first of all the Airbnb was production, and now if we find out that this is also production, our production had a hand to play in this whole situation, I'll be very disappointed. In a way, I feel like that's bullying because why are you setting up this lady to be dragged? I have a big issue with that. Like, why? What did she do to you guys behind the scenes for you to make her this villain or something? I don't know. I would hope that that's not the case, but the fact that she said somebody sent her that address, I'm starting to think, could it be production? Could production have had a hand in this? And is Angel just taking the fall for everything? And do the other ladies know this? So many questions. Let me know what you guys think. Is that a bit too far fetched? Back at the gas station, Wendy, Stacy, and Jazzy discussed their car ride argument, and let the other ladies know what they were talking about. Jazzy, Stacy, and Wendy get into it yet again. And they're again trying to hold Stacy accountable for her lies and everything. Stacy ends up walking away from the group. I think Ashley, Wendy follow her, and I think she says something to Wendy and Wendy ends up leaving again, but then Wendy comes back to check up on her. I think the reason why Wendy walked away from her after checking up on her was because she said something like, oh, maybe, something about their friendship, like maybe Wendy not being that great of a friend sometimes, and I guess Wendy takes that to heart and walks away. And in my opinion, even though Stacy is a liar, I do believe that there have been moments when Wendy has thrown shade to Stacy's way, with, her husband, what's his name, Timu, that family fun day event, the bad breath situation in the beginning of the season. Like, Wendy hasn't really been that great of a friend to Stacy, if I'm being honest. The real person that I feel like has been a real friend to Stacy since last season, I think, was Jazzy. So that's why I was really shocked to hear that she actually didn't want to go to Jazzy's wedding, because that's the actual person that has really been on your corner, hasn't said anything bad about you. Wendy has definitely made some jokes about you with Giselle and Ashley, or like, played flip-flopper type of thing, played straddle the fence a lot of times, with conversations about you and your husband and your whole situation and the guy from last season that you were pretending to be with. Like, she has definitely made some snarky comments. So she's not really the friend that you think she is. Jazzy, I think, is the friend that you think. Jazzy is actually the friend that I feel like is really your friend. And yeah, I don't know. Just a mess. I find it very strange that you wouldn't go to her wedding at the end of the day. Let's even say, okay, she was recording you. Why not have that conversation with her? Why just sweep it under the rug and wait till this moment now to drop it on us? And Jazzy, were you really recording your friends? Why are you recording conversations with your homegirls. That is also very weird. I would rather they had talked about this rather than letting it become what it was, because it just was unnecessary. Both people were wrong, and hopefully they're able to sort it out in the reunion. Wendy and Stacy end up having a conversation, and I guess they reconcile and they're like best friends again. And I'm just like, okay, the fakeness of it all, but whatever. We fast forwarded to 2 months later, and Karen is released from jail. I tell you, the braids and the scarf that she had on had me screaming. I'm like, please, 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 don't kill me. Because why did she have braids on? The braids were killing me. I'm like, okay. But yeah, Karen kind of looked nice. She looked like she had lost some weight for sure. We see her walking out of the prison and entering into the car and heading home, and that's pretty much where the episode ends. So I feel like next episode we're definitely gonna get the sit down segment with Andy, and we'll also get to see Karen reunite with her family. So that would definitely be nice. I definitely feel like this season was interesting. I feel like they focused on things that they just didn't need to focus on. I feel like they dwelled on situations that they didn't need to dwell on longer. They didn't need to dwell on long on. For instance, the whole Monique, Stacy, and Chris situation, that was really drawn out for me. They should have focused more on Jackson and Ashley and what they did and how that even came to be. They should have focused on that and held Ashley accountable. Just feel like they focused on the wrong things. I feel bad for Angel. I feel bad that this was how her first season played out. Tia was an amazing addition for me. I really loved Tia. The revelation of Wendy and the whole scam thing with her, that was a shocker for us, and I'm looking forward to see how the reunion plays out. I don't like how the season ended because I just feel like it was very rushed. Like, why did we end it on this trip? Usually they end it with like a big event that is done when they get back from whatever group trip that they go on. They should have at least shown us what happened when they go back home. If they had a conversation with Angel, them holding Angel accountable for the trip. I don't know, like they could have had those kind of conversations, and we didn't even get to see them go to the airport. Like it literally just ended at the gas station, and it was a bit lackluster in my opinion. But maybe they also wanted to make space for for Karen's interview. Maybe that's also part of the reasons why the season ended the way it did. But I'm curious to see how next episode plays out and ultimately how the reunion plays out as well. The reunion looks are out. Definitely I said Angel. Definitely Wendy is best dressed. Wendy looked flawless. Flawless. If the things that she's accused of are actually true, that money was definitely put to good use, in my opinion. Allegedly. I'm just joking. Monique was the worst.
I don't know what Monique was supposed to be dressed as, whether she was supposed to be a mascot for Doritos. Like, I don't know if there was a promo about Doritos. She definitely did not look that great. She looked like she was from a completely different, like, planet. She looked like she was from a completely different planet, in my opinion. But
they all looked great overall, but definitely some people stood out more. And I'm looking forward to the reunion. Yeah, that's the end of this segment for Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's head to Married to Medicine. Okay, so the ladies of medicine are going on a girls' trip to Florida. They're packing their bags, preparing for the trip, except for Heavenly. Heavenly is having a conversation with Daddy, and she's basically saying, she doesn't know if she wants to go on this trip. Why is she even packing right now? And then she ultimately decides that she's not going to go. So she's saying the reason why she doesn't want to go is because Simone pushed her, and I'm just like, no, that's not what happened. Roll back the clips and we see, Heavenly coming to hug Simone, and Simone is like, don't put your fake hand around me, type of thing. She just removes Heavenly's hand, and Heavenly's like, why did you push me? Why did you push me? And Simone is like, you're being fake, this is this, and Simone, she gets loud. That's basically what happened. I feel like Heavenly is putting 20 on 10, definitely, and yeah. Simone didn't touch her. Simone would not hurt a fly. Simone would just scream at you like, yeah, I just feel like Heavenly is overreacting. The ladies end up getting to the airport, and while they're there, Quad and Simone are apologizing to Angel for causing such a ruckus at her event. And they're Quad and Simone seem bodied up and like are making jokes at the airport. And I think they ultimately make up, because part of the reasons why Quad went off at Angel's event was because she had heard that Simone was looking up her information, particularly her VIN number for her car. So that was the reason why. But it was very nice to see them, make up and just let bygones be bygones. I just feel like Simone and Quad is always manufactured beef. At the end of the day, these two like each other. I just don't understand why they can't just stay friends like continuously, why they always have to have an issue. Maybe Heavenly has the part to play in this, but they're friends ultimately, and I just feel like they should stop letting outside sources intervene in their relationship, intervene with their friendship, because whenever they're together and they're on good terms, they have a good time. There's always laughter, there's always fun, it's always nice to see. So I hope that they keep this going, for the rest of the season. They get to their villa and it looks amazing. One thing I'll say is Contessa, hats off to you. That villa looked amazing. Like the views looked really, really nice. And for what's her name? Toya to be like, oh, this is livable. I'm just like, Toya, what's wrong with you? Like, why do you have to be a hater all the time? You can say that the house looks nice. It does look nice. It looks amazing. Like, that's not gonna kill you. I don't know why she was being a low key hater. She was low key being a hater at that moment. Like, it's not just livable, it's magnificent. Let's be real. In terms of the room assignments, the OGs get the single rooms while the newbies share a room, and the newbies are definitely pissed. Like to the point where Angel, I think that frustration of being the ones to share a room was now like seeping into Angel. So when she was in the room with her bunkmate Brandy, she just starts giving Brandy unnecessary attitude, and I'm just like, this is misdirected anger. You're clearly not happy with your accommodation, and rather than just direct it to the right person, being Contessa, why are you taking it out on Brandy? Like, why are you being weird? I feel like that was very weird on her part, and Brandy was definitely right. Like, you're doing team. This is team too much right now. Like, this is a very unnecessary, and you're definitely giving this room bad energy, which she was. So yeah, I don't know why she was acting like that. It was a bit strange. They change into their swimsuits and grab some food. They're having fun at the pool. They're having conversations. They discuss Heavenly not being there. I think Heavenly ended up texting Contessa that she wouldn't be there because it was Daddy's birthday. Um, and she also says that she didn't want to come. I think she told Quad that she didn't want to come because she felt like someone was aggressive towards her. Um, the ladies are like, no, they don't, recollect that happening. They're on Simone's side. Like, I think that Heavenly is overreacting, and I definitely agree. Like, it's definitely overreaction on Heavenly's part. Heavenly just didn't want to come, and I think she was looking for any excuse not to come, because she has never backed out from any girls trip, even when things were worse for her. So for her to be like, oh, she's scared for her safety all of a sudden, for Simone of all people, Simone, like, come on now. No, that didn't make sense to me. They end up playing games at the poolside, just having girl talk, having conversations, flirty conversations, about life experiences, relationship experiences. Overall, it was just a good time. It was a very light-hearted evening, and then they end up going to bed at the end of the day. The next day in the morning, the ladies called their men to catch up with them, having conversations with them, light conversations again, nothing crazy. And honestly, it's not every time that in a reality show there has to be drama. I did definitely appreciate the fact that the ladies had genuine fun the night before. Like, they just let loose. They were just like, there's a lot of sisterhood going on, and I definitely love to see that. Don't get me wrong, I like drama from time to time, but seeing these kind of scenes as well, I also enjoy it as well. So let me know if you guys are like that too. Do you just like the drama, drama, drama all the time, or do you actually like seeing these ladies get to know each other more, bonding, laughing, having a good time, and all that? Because I definitely do. So later on in the day, the ladies are split into two groups. Contessa, Simone, Mimi, and Brandy go and meet dolphins. Jackie, Toya, Angel, and Quad take moke cars to drive around. I've never seen that kind of car. I guess they're called mokes. But it looked really cute. It looked really pretty. One was blue and one was pink, and then the ladies were just driving around, going around to see the city. And at the end of the day, they went to have brunch. While on the other hand, the other ladies went to go see dolphins. I personally would have gone to go see the dolphins. I feel like when I'm on holiday, I definitely like to try things, new experiences and all that. So if you compare the mock slash having brunch to dolphins, I would definitely have picked the dolphins. Definitely would have. What would you guys have picked? But yeah, Contessa's group heads out, and Contessa let it be known that Heavenly let her know that it was because of Damon's birthday that she didn't come with the ladies. And I'm just like, but you told one person that it was because Simone was aggressive towards you physically or and verbally. So which one is it, Heavenly? Doesn't make sense. They get to the dolphin location and they seem to be having a lot of fun as well. It was nice seeing, Mimi, squirming and not wanting to touch the dolphins, but I think eventually she got comfortable and had a good time. So they also had a good time with the dolphins. On the other hand, Toya's group heads out, in their mocks to have lunch. Like I said, Toya brings up Angel asking her what type of friend she was, in the previous episode. And Angel pretty much checks Toya, like, I didn't like how you came to me when I was having a conversation with the guy that I brought. And you were basically talking about how you were trying to hook me up with someone else. Like, that wasn't cool. That broke girls' code, blah, blah, blah. And what's her name? Toya responds by saying, I was about to let you into my family, my friends, and everything, and connect you with a really good guy like Eugene's best friend. And the fact that I saw you bring another man to the thing made me feel like you were not serious. And should I have actually connected you guys, you would have just taken advantage of my friend, which are good reasons. Like, don't get me wrong, Toya's is valid for the way she felt. I definitely agree with her saying, I didn't like that you brought somebody else when you were trying to tell me to hook you up with somebody. Where Toya went wrong was having that conversation with Angel when that guy was there. She could have pulled Angel aside and be like, that's not cool what you're doing right now. You told me to hook you up with someone, blah, blah, blah. That's the way that conversation should have gone. The issue was you just coming there, embarrassing the guy, embarrassing Angel, and asking weird questions. Like, that just didn't make sense. And that's the issue that Angel has with you. That was you breaking girls' code. You could have called her, you could have pulled her aside to have that conversation. It didn't have to be had in front of the guy. So I'm very happy that Angel nipped that in the bud and, checked Toya Loki on that, because Toya be acting like she's above doing any wrong. And it was good for Angel to like stand up for herself and to basically tell her that I'm not the one to play with like that. And hopefully she got the message. But knowing Toya, she probably didn't. And she probably would do something funny again, hence the name Taki Toya. As they're rounding up their brunch, Heavenly walks in and joins them, and Toya is shady towards her with her greeting. She says, we need to be careful how we touch each other. We know we need to be careful how we touch people in this group. And I'm just like, Toya, come on. But Heavenly Toya is like rolling her eyes, like, whatever, Toya. But they end up heading back home, and the other ladies come back from their dolphin. No, I think the other ladies come back from their dolphin event first, and then Heavenly and the other ladies that went on the mugs end up coming back home. And of course, Simone is shocked to see Heavenly and not happy, not pleased at all to see Heavenly as well. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. This episode was a cute episode. I feel like not too much happened, but it wasn't boring at the same time. It was very chill, relax, which is not bad from time to time to have. So, yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed seeing the ladies have fun and all that. I think next episode, Simone and Heavenly are going to have a conversation about the accusations that Heavenly made about Simone. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much how the episode ends. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I liked it. And I definitely love to hear your feedback as well. Hey guys, welcome to another subscriber shout out. And today I'll be shouting out Cleo's YouTube channel. Cleo is a lifestyle content creator. She makes things from vlogs, unpopular opinion videos, rating videos, chit chat videos, and all sorts. So if you're interested in that kind of content, I'll definitely link her YouTube, her Instagram, and her TikTok on the description box for you guys to check out. And yeah, let's get back into the video. So, last but not least, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So we continue off with the point where Meredith accuses or alleges that Brittany is a bigot and Brittany is not having it. She's crying. She walks out of the stage and everything. And while she's off the stage, they continue to talk about the plane situation. Andy asks Meredith one more time if she did have a drink or drank before the incident or before getting on the plane, and Meredith says yes, she drank one drink and doesn't deny that she vented, and I agree because Meredith's story has always been the same since this whole accusation started. She never said that um she wasn't venting. She never said she wasn't venting. She never said she wasn't loud. She just doesn't agree with, first of all, the time, the length at which these ladies are saying she did it for, and the things that the ladies said she did, like, oh, she was shaking Britney's chair, she was doing this, she was pulling her hair, and it's like, no, I was talking to Lisa, and they're like, oh, she was doing it for 3 whole hours, and she's like, no, it was like 30 minutes type of thing. It definitely wasn't hours like you guys are saying. So that is what she is not accepting or owning up to, but everything else she has owned up to. And I feel like her story has been the same since. And like I said, I'm still going to stick with Meredith because at the end of the day, I definitely believe that the other ladies are just trying to take her down. This was definitely a takedown on Meredith, and I feel like Loki flopped, and you know she basically told them to try somebody else, not her. They talk about the incident on the cruise with the ladies trying to get Lisa to agree to spreading stories about them, and ultimately Lisa just crying, leaving them at dinner and being at the dock like crying. So Lisa is basically telling them that she felt like she was being bullied, and at that point she wanted to go home. So that was part of the reasons why she could resonate with Meredith being on an island by her own, because she doesn't like how the ladies treated Meredith, and she definitely didn't like how the ladies treated her as well. The ladies talk about, which I agree with. I feel like I said, this was definitely a takedown on Meredith as well as Lisa. They really were trying their best to take these two ladies down, and it just flopped, in my opinion. It flopped because all of you are hypocrites. Everything that you're accusing Lisa of doing, you guys do it 10 times more. You do it 10 times more. I'm convinced, I'm very sure that Heather spreads information about the ladies. Was it not like it's 2 seasons ago when Monica was there, where she said that even Angie used to talk to Hans, share stories to her. So all these things that you're accusing Lisa of doing, you guys have done it in the past. Why is Lisa or Meredith being held to a different standard? Jen Shah used to scream at these ladies, pour water on Angie, gave Heather a black eye. Nobody called her out. Meredith yells or is venting to her friend Lisa about Brittany while Brittany is there, and all of a sudden Meredith is being held to the fire. Like, that doesn't make sense to me as well. But anyways, I'm over that whole situation. They go on to talk about the pill popping situation, and Whitney gives Meredith a whack apology and says that she only said it as a retaliation to how Meredith was treating her. They also talk about Meredith insinuating that Heather and Whitney are pill poppers, and the crazy thing is that moments after, when they're having that conversation, and Meredith is explaining why she's called them pill poppers, they admit that, oh, is it not just Xanax we gave you? Is it not just this pill we gave you? It's not just this pill we gave you? And I'm just like, you guys are looking incriminating yourself. She never specifically said, oh, they were hard drugs or anything like that. She said you guys were popping pills. These things that you're naming are pills. So you are basically like agreeing to the statement that she said indirectly. So I was just like, you just can't win with these ladies. You really can't. Because you literally just proved her point by naming all the drugs you've given her. Like, why are you giving her drugs? Doesn't make sense to me. Um, and then to Whitney saying that, oh, the reason why she called um, Meredith a pill popper and a drug addict was, I mean, an alcoholic, sorry, it was because she was retaliating. So because somebody is calling you out on something, you choose to make up something about them and insult them back with that. You choose to make up lies. At that moment, like, I felt like that was very distasteful on her part. And the fact that she owned up to it, like, oh, I said that because I just wanted to hurt you. I'm just like, you're a very evil person. For you to think that just because somebody isn't, you're in an argument with somebody, for you to think that you should make up lies to try and ruin their reputation and ruin them as an individual in that moment, just so you can hurt them back, is very like telling, in my opinion. And I feel like that just showed me the kind of person that Whitney is. That was very dark, in my opinion. But she ends up apologizing, Sha, and I'm just like, yeah, no, you're definitely very weird for doing that. They talk about Lisa's scene with John, and Lisa is trying to express herself and express her feelings, but keeps getting interrupted by the ladies, and eventually is like, I'm done with this conversation. And I honestly agree. Every other lady has literally sat there, said their piece, expressed their feelings on different, situations that Andy talked to them about. And whenever it was Lisa's time to talk, or questions were asked to Lisa from Andy, I noticed that it was the other ladies were very quick to jump on her and say what she did wrong in those situations. And I'm just like, Whitney literally was bawling her eyes out just a few minutes ago about her own relationship with her husband and everything. Nobody interrupted her, nobody chimed in, they let her express her feelings and all that. Why again are these double standards made for Lisa? If Lisa breathes is a problem, if Lisa doesn't breathe is a problem. Like, why can't Lisa just express herself without one of you guys jumping in? I just find it very ridiculous. So I definitely with Lisa at that point when she was like, I'm done. Like, I can't say anything that would, these ladies are not just going to jump on, and I'm tired of this conversation, let's move on. It's very, I can imagine that it would be very frustrating because you cannot express yourself. Mind you, they want you to express yourself, they want you to be more vulnerable, they feel like you're not vulnerable with them. But the moment you start to be vulnerable and cry is an issue. If you're not vulnerable and crying, it's also an issue. So please, like, you guys should just leave Lisa alone, you guys should just leave Meredith alone, because they can never please you guys at this point. You would always find reason to say something about them. They get into Bronwyn's dad's passing. I didn't know that her dad passed. I hope that his soul is resting in peace. And they also talk about her relationship with her mom and her relationship with Todd. And then we find out that her and Todd are separated. Shocker. Definitely not shocked about that. So we saw Todd's behavior from last season till this season, and just anytime he interacted with her, it was always weird. He definitely always gave like dad daughter dynamic, and I wonder if that was part of like her trauma from growing up and having a kid at such a young age, and her parents abandoning her. Like, maybe that was like a trauma response for her. Talk about her mom's relationship with her as well, the uncomfortable conversations that they had, the way her mom treated her, in the different parts of this season. Yeah, I didn't really care about Broadway's segments, because I'm just like, it was expected. Like, anybody that didn't expect this to happen definitely was watching a different show. Like, it just comes a point where you just stop being able to take bullshit, and I just feel like she got to that point, particularly with Todd. Obviously her mom is still her mom, and she still has to be there for her mom regardless. And it seems like she wants to work things out with her mom. But if somebody doesn't want to change, or if somebody is not willing to change, there's not so much that you can do about that. And she also goes into saying how, like, I guess even social media had a part to play with the demise of our relationship, because Todd started to read what people were saying on social media about him and became a shell of himself. And how, like, even the conversation that she had with Whitney about a threesome and open marriage, like, she wasn't comfortable with even the things that she was saying about her marriage to Whitney. Like, all those things that she was trying to, like, accommodate in a relationship was just not her. And her watching back, those scenes and all that just made her realize that her and Todd were probably in different um at different points in their lives, and maybe the best thing for them would just be to like separate. She was definitely the one that filed for separation. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate the demise of a family, but there were definitely a lot of cracks in that relationship that we, the viewers, could see. And maybe that was the intent of all this, for her to see, like, her own relationship in a different through a different lens, because sometimes we don't see things as they happen. But in hindsight, when we like reflect and like think about decisions that were made in the past, or think about situations that were done in the past, the real discernment starts to happen, and maybe that's what happened in her case. But I wish her well. Let's see how it plays out for her in the next season, because I'm pretty sure this secures her a snowflake for next season. Like, yeah, I know Bravo is definitely not going to let this storyline slide by. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic of, you know, the dynamic with her being separated with Todd. Are they going to file a divorce? How that plays out, yeah. And I just hope for the best for her. I wish her the best. I'm curious to see the difference that this would make in her personality and her relationship with the ladies. And yeah, we talk about Greece, especially the conversation between Brownwin, Mary, and Whitney about them being worried about Meredith. And, and Brownwin literally rips Meredith to shreds for being quiet when Lisa, was always talking about her marriage. And I just think that this was misdirected anger. How are you more upset at the person that has been quiet and not said one thing about your relationship or your marriage than the person that actually did say something about your marriage? I found that very annoying that Brownwin even went there and literally gaslit the hell out of Meredith. People online were like, "Oh yeah, Browning clocked Meredith. Like Browning is right. This is da da da." And I'm like, "How is Browning right? How?" She just gaslit Meredith in that whole situation. You think that you can't even accuse Meredith for not saying anything about your relationship when you went ahead and said so much about her relationship and even insinuated something about her relationship. How can you be upset about her keeping quiet? I feel like that was her way of trying to take, you know, whatever heat that Meredith would have had about her bringing up, her husband on the show or talking about him in that light, she took away from that and overshadowed it with, it was almost like a reverse psychology thing that I feel happened. Like rather than we focus on me bringing up this thing about Seth, how about we focus on the fact that you never stood up for my relationship, kind of trying to justify that being the reason why she brought up the whole Seth situation. That didn't make sense to me, and I'm so disappointed by the fan base, majority of them, for thinking that that was okay. That was very weird, and not being able to realize that that was just gaslighting at the maximum. Browning is really the one that these ladies need to watch out for. She's actually one of the most manipulative people that I have seen on this particular franchise. And I hope that they call her out for it. Like, it's crazy. And I think that they let her slide with it, or they don't realize it much, because her emotional intelligence is definitely up to par and way more than a lot of the ladies that seated on this couch. A lot of them are not emotionally aware or emotionally intelligent. That's something that I have noticed, and they're not clocking Brownwing the way they should. She is really the manipulator in this group. She is really the gaslighter in this group. She's everything that they think Lisa and Meredith are, in my opinion. So I feel like they should really keep their eyes on her. I was so confused. How can you be angry with somebody for not saying anything? Meredith never said anything about Brownwing's relationship. Nothing, even when there were things that needed to be said. You are the one that ended up saying something about her relationship, and you are the one that is mad. How? Haba, how? How are you the one that is mad? How are you the one that was mad? That was mad, and then she was now like talking about how Meredith used her to get information about the other ladies, to get information about conversations that we had about the ladies. That is not Meredith's fault that you chose to be a bone collector for her. She didn't ask you to be that. You chose to be that because you were trying to be a people pleaser, and maybe you thought that her being, you being that for her would have given you the upper hand with her, or like giving you the upper hand with her and Lisa. I don't know what your plan or your game plan was supposed to be, because I feel like Brownwing moves with motive. Like there's always a reason for the things that Brownwing does. She's very strategic and all that. So Meredith definitely didn't give you what you were expecting to be gotten from you giving her this loyalty. So I just feel like now you're trying to twist the whole thing, twist the whole narrative, and make yourself look like the victim and make Meredith look like the bad guy. And it just didn't land for me. But yeah, she's definitely the one that they should watch out for. She's definitely the one that she should watch out for. But Meredith ends up apologizing to her, like, hey, I thought that our relationship was good. I never have tried to use you to get information about these other ladies. I've never tried to use you as a bone carrier. And if you felt that way, I apologize. Like, that was never my intent. And truly, I don't think that was really Meredith's intent. How can you be mad at somebody that is, you know, in their own will coming to give you information about things? Like, hey, I'm not gonna say no to it. Like, yeah, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but to accuse her of being the one, like, oh, as if she's holding you with strings to tell you what to do and all that. Brownwing, you are a very independent lady. Nobody needs to tell you what to do and all that. You do whatever you want to do. So all of a sudden now we're supposed to believe that, oh, Meredith has been pulling you by the strings and manipulating you to do what you don't want to do. Come on now. And it's so funny that you had this kind of heat and this kind of smoke for Meredith when you've never had this kind of smoke for Todd, who treats you like trash. How are you having this kind of smoke for somebody else that didn't do anything to you, has been quiet about you? Meanwhile, the one person that has been embarrassing you on national television, you're all quiet and you have this baby voice like, Todd, 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 Todd. You have no smoke for him. You are crying about the demise of your relationship with him. But Meredith that barely did anything to you or did nothing to you, you have all this smoke, you have all this, you're swearing at her. Like, how did this happen? Meredith has never sworn at you. Like, what is this? That was team too much, in my opinion. Like, that was definitely way too much. Like, misdirected anger. The person you should have faced and checked was Lisa. Lisa was literally there for you to check. That's what the whole reunion is about. And I just feel like you just focusing on Meredith completely for that whole segment was very, very strange. Very, very strange. And if I was Meredith, I would definitely keep that. I'll definitely keep that in my back pocket and, look at you sideways moving forward, because that was very odd behavior. The best thing about this season is that it's finally over. I'm tired. Like, these ladies stressed me out. The amount of bullying, the amount of ganging up was just too much. Like, I don't know. I feel like Salt Lake City is becoming a bit dark. Heather is really ruining this show. Mary is not being held accountable because there are a lot of things that a lot of people could say about Mary, and there are a lot of things that should be discussed about Mary that I feel like we just glide over because, oh, Mary is a fan favorite. No, Mary needs to be held accountable too, and I hate that they just give her a pass every time. I hate it. Whitney did not really contribute anything this season. We see her crying about her relationship, even when Brownwin is talking about her relationship. She made it about herself in that moment, crying, walking off the stage, talking about how much her and Justin have been through a lot with their personal life, with their business and everything. Why wasn't that highlighted for majority of your storyline this season? Why didn't we get to see a lot of that? We saw a few of that, from time to time, but that wasn't the main focus with you. That should have been your storyline this season. But no, you chose to go ahead and be accusing somebody of being a pill popper and an alcoholic. That could have been a good storyline. The viewers see you in a different light. Heather, ever since she did this, her plastic surgery, did this lipo or whatever it is that she did, she has been a completely different person. She has become a mean girl, and I'm just tired of it. I can't wait for the point where somebody holds Heather accountable, because she's equally as bad as all these ladies that they have accused of doing things. Like, Heather is not a saint. Heather is not a saint at all, and these ladies need to realize it very quickly. Angie, I don't understand why you're always going after Lisa. You and Lisa are pretty much two peas in the same pod. Like, you guys are supposed to be friends. You guys are the same, exact same people. You're always looking for a moment. Not everything needs to be a moment. And I'm tired of your rehearsed reads. I'm tired of your rehearsed reads. Just be a true friend like you expect, and things will be good between you and Lisa. Not everything needs to be a moment. Not everything needs to be a moment. Who else? Brownwin, I'm hoping that now that you're separated from your grandfather, Todd, I'm hoping that we get to see you in a different light. Brittany, I don't care for Brittany. Like, if I'm being honest, I would not have any problem with not seeing her again on my screen. I just feel like she's teamed too much as well. She does the most. She's always wanting attention. You need to go and sort your relationship with your daughters and stop putting men above your children. Like, please get that sorted out, because that is not a good look. And now that I think about it, we didn't really focus on that again. Like, that conversation, that conversation was not really had in this reunion. Like, did we talk much about that? I think they did, but it was just glazed over again, like maybe 1 minute conversation, and then we moved on to the next thing. Why are you being a deadbeat mom? Like, why? Focus on that relationship. Focus on growing your relationship with your daughters. Stop focusing on other things. Like focus on that. Focus on that. These ladies stressed me. They did. Like it wasn't the most fun season. It wasn't the most fun season. Meredith, like I like you and everything. Um my advice to you is definitely be careful with these ladies. Don't get too comfortable with them. Lisa, I loved seeing you being vulnerable this season. I hope that things with you and John definitely work out. You need to listen more to John, though. Like, not everything has to be Lisa, 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 especially with somebody that seems to have your back. Like, you and John seems to have your back, and it would be such a shame if you end up losing that all because you are like just hyperfixated on yourself, or you are just because you self-sabotage or you disregard his feelings. Definitely work on that. I hope you guys do, and I hope you guys are able to get through this. Whitney, show us more of your life. Stop being in other people's business, because it seems like there's a lot happening in yours. Mary, go and visit your son at jail. Like, are your reasons for not going to see him in jail does not make sense to me, especially since you made him your storyline or have made him your storyline for the past 2 seasons. It doesn't make sense that you've not visited him from in jail. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. Let me know what you guys think. Very happy that Salt Lake City is gone. Very, very happy. Can rest and I can focus on Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Potomac. I think Love is Blind season 10 is coming out in February. So since I wouldn't be reviewing 3 shows anymore, I guess, and now it will be 2 shows. I guess I could add Love is Blind. We'll see. That's a maybe for now. But let me know if you guys will want me to review Love is Blind in my lineup as well. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.